Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Bennett. I'm the Executive Director of Enrollment Services and the Registrar at Lee College, and I'm joined with my colleague here, Dr. Marissa Moreno, the Director of the Advising and Counseling Center, and we are here to answer any questions you might have. And so that's always the first thing with these, getting started off, getting some questions going. So, first off, we're certainly excited. The start of school is coming this coming Monday. We're less than a week away. So we are certainly very excited about that. Certainly ready to get back into the classroom as best we can, even if they are still at a distance. But we are certainly looking forward to the start of the semester.
For some of you that don't know, we are still remotely assisting and advising students. A lot of our students are coming through via email, and we're able to assist you quicker via email because a lot of the spots that we've had for remote advising through Blackboard Collaborator telephone have been completely booked. And so we're doing a lot of questions and answers via email, actually sending degree audits and doing really good advising sessions to ensure that you have everything that you need for this upcoming semester. I realize that it may not be happening as fast, or you may be last minute deciding to come to Lee College. We still are here to serve you. We are still available for you. We are still wanting to make sure that we get you in. And to Scott's point, there are different terms that we have. We have different start dates. And so I'll let Scott explain a little bit more about what those start dates look like, and also the modalities that we have going.
Sure. So typically, you might be familiar with our 16-week session. This is when classes start in August and end in December. This is our standard session. What we tried to do this time, though, is we tried to build in more of our schedule into later start opportunities. So that way, if you decide or certain circumstances prevail themselves that you can register and start college when you weren't expecting, we still have classes available for you. Not just because the semester starts on Monday, that means that's it. There's no way that you can enroll. We have 13-week sessions, which will start in September. We have 10-week sessions, which will start in October. And we also offer classes over the Christmas break, if you're not familiar with. Those classes are really condensed and happen in a pretty quick time frame. But we offer classes in all different lengths of time. One other thing that Dr. Moreno mentioned is we also have classes that are offered in different modalities. So different ways for those classes to be taught. We have some classes that are face-to-face, so that are going to be on campus traditionally. We have some classes that are offered in a hybrid format, which means partly online and part in the classroom. Then we have online classes that are offered in two formats. One where you meet into a virtual classroom at a specific time for your lectures. And then we offer other ones that you can complete kind of at your own pace. There's still due dates and things like that you have to be aware of, but there's a little bit more flexibility for your schedule. So we offer sessions that are of different lengths, so you can start at different times of the year of the term. And then we have different modalities, so that way it can accommodate you as best as we possibly can. So even though the semester starts Monday, there's still plenty of opportunities if you're not ready yet.
Thanks, Scott. I also wanted to touch base on the fact that I know many of you are looking at seeing where your students, if you have students in the ISD, when they're going to start, what that's going to look like. So that's a lot of why we did accommodating different timeframes and having different terms, is so that students have the ability to get their children settled within the school districts. And we service about 13 or more different kind of ISD or different ISDs. And so we want to make sure that we accommodate as many as we can. We also understand that online learning is not something that you are familiar with or you feel comfortable with. Rest assured, it's very uncomfortable providing services online. We'd rather see you. We miss all of our students, seeing our students face to face, but under the circumstances, we need to make sure everybody is safe, especially since the pandemic doesn't seem to be breaking yet, and there seems to be a lot of unknowns. So just safety first and foremost for our students is the most important, then for our employees, just in our faculty. So to ensure that everybody is good to go. But just so you know, we have different services that we have, different resources. We are providing remote testing for students that need to test. We are providing remote. We're also providing remote tutoring. We have math lab, writing lab. They're doing innovative stuff within their spaces that have been very helpful for students. So we are doing our due diligence to ensure that you are successful and making sure that we are available for all of y'all. It looks like there were some questions in the chat. Is it too late to sign up for the fall semester? Absolutely not. It is not too late to sign up for the fall. We are signing up all the way through the last session, which I believe starts on October 5th. So you have plenty of time to sign up. It just will depend on which class you're wanting to sign up for. Some of the lab classes may be extended longer and may not start on October 5th. They may have to start sooner than that, but we definitely want to get that ball rolling for you. So if you have questions about it, you can definitely go to counselor@lee.edu. I think someone should put that in there in the thread for counselor@lee.edu so that you can email us and we can get you ready to go, because there's several of us that are answering those emails and making sure that your admissions process is good, your financial aid process is good, your enrollment's good, your advising's good. So we look forward to serving you.
Yeah, and speaking about it not being too late, there still are opportunities, but if you are interested, we want you to reach out to us as soon as possible. Some processes may take a little bit longer than others, from going from application to testing, maybe getting transcripts from high school if it's been some time since you've been in school, or other institutions, going through the financial aid process. We'd like to say that we could meet with you and get you enrolled in one day. And in some circumstances, we can do that. But really, if you are interested, give us a shout as soon as possible so we can get that process started for you. Because we'd always like to have more time than not enough time to get you in. Because we want to make you feel comfortable with the process of becoming a college student. We don't want to rush you through it and then have you feel overwhelmed. So the earlier you can make contact with us, the better.
If you're transferring from another institution, we welcome you for sure. Just be mindful that we will definitely need your transcripts. Electronic transcripts are being sent from Lee College to other institutions and vice versa. We are receiving them electronically. We do have Dr. Husband, who is going into the office and making sure that those that come in through the mail are being processed so that we have that information for them. And so to that, we want to make sure that we have that transcript to determine what classes are next. We never want to put you in a class that you may have already taken. So just as soon as you can get that to us, the better. So I appreciate anything you can do in terms of getting that to us soon. There was a question in the chat. It was asking about our classes being held virtually the whole semester. I'm sorry, I missed one before that. Excuse me. The first one before that was, where do you find the virtual math lab? It looks like Sarah put it in there for the math lab, the link in the box, but you can go to the Lee College website looking under Learning Developed Math Pathways Lab. And then there was another question, are classes being held virtually for the whole semester? As of right now, yes, absolutely. All of the classes have been the whole entire semester. Scott, do you want to speak a little bit more to the classes virtually?
Yeah, we're going to start the classes off with the modality that they're listed. So if it's an online class, it's going to be online throughout the term. The only area where we may see some flexibility is if you're enrolled in a hybrid section, so half online, half in the classroom. If the situation were to deteriorate and additional safety protocols are needed, you could see an adjustment in the modality of the class. So moving more to online. So that might be an instance where we see that. If you're in a face-to-face course that you absolutely need the hands-on instruction, then there may be a situation where we have to pause those courses until it's safe to return to campus. But I can make this promise that we certainly don't want to adjust the modalities if we don't have to. The only time that you would see that happen is if we were doing that in the interest of safety, because we certainly don't want to make what should be difficult college even more difficult with changing it on you.
Exactly. Thank you, Scott. There was another question. When are the financial aid refund payments going out if you were enrolled for classes on September 24th? I don't know the answer to that question. Scott, do you know that answer?
Okay. No, I don't know the answer to that question off the top of my head. There is a difference though with disbursement. So financial aid posting to your student account and your bill being paid. and a refund when any excess funds are returned to you as a student. So there are a difference in those 2 dates, but all of it depends on what your schedule is and the number of classes you're enrolled. So just real quick, if you were taking a 16-week class that's going to start Monday, then your financial disbursement might be different than if you were taking in a 10-week class that starts in October, since the start dates are different. So, and particularly with financial aid, the best thing that we can do for you is for you to reach out to us so we can answer it specific to your account. Because with money, we don't want to be funny. We certainly want to tell you exactly the details that are specific to your account.
And I see that, Samuel, that you had changed it. You had meant August 24th. When is the disbursement for August 24th? I believe they should be starting to disperse this week, right?
I believe
You know,
that's the
Scott?
case, but we'll get that and we'll post it in the chat shortly.
Yes. Okay. The other one that we had, what about, we haven't talked about the fall grads, the 2020 grads, Scott. Do you want to talk a little bit about the 2020 grads while I ask Felipe about the other?
Sure. I just sent a message about the disbursement, so hopefully we'll get that. But whomever answers first. So one URL that I do want to direct you to is www.lee.edu/2020grad or grad 2020. My mistake. And this is something that we're doing this fall, where if you are a graduate of Goose Creek Independent School District or Liberty High School, you have the opportunity to attend this fall for no out-of-pocket costs for tuition and fees. So this is where we might have the opportunity to work with you to be able to go ahead and pay your tuition and fees so you're able to attend this fall for free. Now, we're not able to cover books with this. The thing about books, it depends on what classes you're taking. And since we don't own the bookstore, we don't set those prices. So we're not able to cover books because of the wide variability with that. But this is an opportunity that you can take part in that should cover tuition and fees if you meet the criteria. So we'd certainly welcome you to look at that URL. And if you do have any questions, we'd be happy to answer those. Because as we said earlier, it's not too late to start this fall semester.
And thanks to our team, Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Husband, and Sarah Tidwell, who are on the line or on the chat, making sure that we get all the links to all of y'all. So I appreciate y'all being here and making sure that you have all those links. So all the links that you did say, Scott, have been listed into the chat. There was another question about our labs meeting in person, chemistry to be specific.
And so that would be a question on which section of chemistry that you enrolled in, if it were an online section or a hybrid section. I believe a majority of our courses, particularly for chemistry, if it's either chemistry 1411, 1412, 1405, any of those sections, a majority of them are offered online with a few sections that are hybrid. So our faculty has done an outstanding job of professional development and working to make sure that they're able to offer those courses online. So again, it would depend on the section that you're enrolled in.
And just make sure you stay in contact with the instructor. Make sure you log into Blackboard Collaborate once classes start. And speaking of Blackboard Collaborate, since everything is in the modality of online, all of your classes are going to have a Blackboard Collaborate component to it. And that would include your welding classes, your instrumentation classes, your process technology classes, our industrial and technical classes as well as cosmetology. Some people think that, since these are hands-on lab courses, there's not an online component, but our faculty has done a phenomenal job of shifting over to online capacities in innovative ways, for sure. But definitely make sure your Blackboard Collaborate will not show onto your account until the first day of class. So once you log into your Blackboard account the first day of class, and what I mean by that is if your class starts August 24th, those classes that actually start on that day will show up. If you have some classes that start on October 5th, those won't show up until October 5th. You're only going to be able to see the ones that are starting that day that you log in, the first day of class. And so make sure you go in, make sure you check in with your instructor. Instructors will post information. They'll post welcome. They'll post the syllabi, all of the stuff that you need to know in terms of how to navigate through that class. it'd be very, very important that, especially if you're in a lab class, to understand if they have split those classes up. Sometimes some instructors are splitting them up by alphabet, and some of them are splitting them up by groups, but I think a majority are doing it by the alphabet. And so depending on what alphabet you're in is going to determine which day you're going to go, because they had to make sure that they social distanced all of those classrooms. So just make sure that you're in that Blackboard account, you're in constant communication with your faculty member. If you have any problems going on, make sure that you have, make sure that you let your instructors know. If you can't reach your instructor, you have assigned advisors that are here to advocate for you on your behalf. Reach out to any of us so that we can make sure that we get to that instructor, because we want to make sure that you're successful. The earlier the better. Anything that comes up, as soon as it comes up, just reach out to us so that we can assist you. Did you want to add anything else to that, Scott?
No, that was a great answer to that question. And just as a follow-up to a prior question, financial aid disbursement is actually happening tomorrow. So if you're receiving financial aid, you should see that posted to your account as far as covering tuition and fees and what have you. Refunds will go out later. Again, that is going to be specific based off of different sessions that you're enrolled, but that date is September 9th for refunds.
And I see that Carl had put that in the actual chat for us. Yes. Thank you, Carl, for reading your text messages. We want to make sure that you get all the information that you need to know, need to get as you ask these questions. Okay. So Felicia, it looks like you asked, when will the grant money will it show usable to pay for our stuff? It looks like Carl answered that question for you as well. And then you said, and would we be able to get books when the money arrives? I'm not sure. Are you asking for ebooks? Are you asking for the ability to use the money that you have in financial aid to then order the books? I don't see that.
While you're writing that follow-up, I did just want to remind everybody about what we're doing with textbooks and supplies for courses. What we're doing is we are bundling your textbooks with your tuition and fees as a separate item. That's called My Books. And so that way you will have access to your textbooks on the first day of class. This is something, though, that you can choose to opt out of if you'd like. The option to do that is in your MyLC campus account, and you have the option to opt out of those books. There are some advantages and disadvantages of My Books. Peace of mind by ensuring that you have your textbooks at the start of class is certainly one of those by bundling with My Books. But there's also some drawbacks. Not everybody likes an ebook or a virtual copy of their textbook. And I'm not to say that all of the books are given in that capacity, but there are some differences with choices and that kind of thing. So if you do see a line item on your account for My Books, that's what that item might be.
And I think the question is about, and I think Felicia, and there's a little bit of a lag, so you're probably getting this after you said yes, but I think the question is, if she doesn't want to get the ebooks, how can she get that money, like use her Pell Grant monies to order those books? And I'm not sure if you know that answer, Scott, but I have put it in a thread with Felipe, who could not make it this evening. So my apologies for not having that answer offhand. So hopefully we can get that to you just shortly.
Yeah, what I'll say, at the rate we're going, we'll probably have your answer in the next 5 minutes. So just sit tight with us and we'll have that for you.
I also see that Sarah put in there the My Books info for Lee College, how you can opt out, all that kind of stuff is in there. And let's see what else we can get. We're still here. Does anybody else have any other questions, concerns? We want to make sure we get all your answers. We are not on campus right now. We are not able to provide student-facing services, so to speak, but we've been remote since March 16th, and we've been able to assist everyone. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us, counselor@lee.edu. Felipe did text message back. I'm hoping Carl will grab it and put it into the chat. He says they have to opt out of the My Books when they have 7 days. We then have 7 days to provide a book refund if they have a credit balance in their student account. So that is essentially what he said. So you have to opt out of the My Books, and then you will get that book voucher, that book refund. So I hope that helps, Felicia. Okay, so we have some more books. When can some more books, some more questions about books? When can I order my books from the bookstore? I believe
And so,
that.
oh, go ahead. Sure. So that's one thing we've been in discussion with the bookstore for the last few days. The search feature through our bookstore's website to find your textbooks has been down. That's something that we have communicated to the bookstore more than once, I can assure you of that. And they have assured us that they're working on it and it should be updated soon so you can make sure you can get the full comprehensive book list for your fall classes.
Awesome. There was another question about my books. I'm taking 3 classes and only received 1 book through my books. Will I get the books later? My assumption is that she would have to work with the bookstore on that one to be able to ensure that, and it's also depending on whether or not the instructors put the information into the bookstore's database. But you'll for sure be able to get them. I would just keep checking back. Scott, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, the responses are going to be the same. It depends on the class. So, for one example, water aerobics is not using a textbook for that particular course, so you might not have a book for that class. Some deliveries are through different publishers, so that those emails might come a little bit closer to the semester starting. But we would be happy to help connect you with the bookstore so you can get answers to those questions.
Thank you. Lizette asked about the free tuition. Is it only 2020 Goose Creek grads? Correct? Question mark.
Yes, that's correct. This is for 2020 graduates of Goose Creek. Yes.
And we also have Liberty High School.
Yes, that is correct. Liberty High School as well. Now, I will say. No, I will say though, as far as community colleges go, Lee College is very affordable. And so even if you're not a 2020 graduate or 2020 graduate of Liberty High School and meeting one of those waiver groups, we still encourage you to fill out the application for financial aid. And if you need any support with that, we have offices that can help you go through that process as well. But we encourage every student to apply for financial aid because you very well might qualify for aid that you didn't know you might get. We also have scholarships as well. And so we'd encourage you to go through that process because you might find that college is actually a lot more affordable than you thought.
Excellent. And it looks like everybody has been, our student affairs personnel have been putting in information in there. I see that Sarah Tidwell also put in there Dustin Neely's information so that you're able to email him should you have problems getting books. He is the manager for us. I see Felicia had asked about labs and how is that going to work. And it looks like Carl answered her in terms of labs. She means her science labs. That's going to be the ones where they're going to be separated. You're going to have to look at what time frame that your last name of your letter, the first letter of your last name is, and how you're going to be seated as far as whether you're going on a Monday or a Wednesday or a Tuesday or a Thursday. So make sure you look at your class schedule for that. Also, we have Dr. Kaufman also put on there that a link to our computer lab that we have available where students can come and have access. If you don't have access to our computer, it is appointment only because we have to maintain social distancing, but this is only to use the computer lab. There is no other services that are being provided at that point. Daniel Christie is in charge of that. He is there. He is very versed in a lot of our processes, especially in student affairs. And so he can help you if you have any concerns or issues, at least guide you in that right direction. Let's see what else we have.
And just real quick, those computer labs are also available at our Liberty Center as well as our McNair Center as well. So we are trying to make as many options available as safely as possible.
Thank you. And if someone can put our Liberty information on the chat, if you haven't already, that would be super helpful so that people can have access to that easily. Let's see. Is there anything else that we have forgotten to talk about, Scott? Anything else? We look forward to
You
coming
know,
back to campus.
Yeah, I don't think we've forgotten anything at this point. It's just we're very excited for the start of the semester. August and school starting up and wanting to gain a sense of normalcy, and so the semester starting is certainly going to help towards that, although it's going to be different than anything we've ever done before. And so just know we're all in this together, and we're doing our best to make sure that we're providing as best of service as possible. I know when we first made this switch it was a little bit different and unusual, but the longer this has gone on, we're certainly getting better at it, faster, more responsive. And, we miss you all, and we're just really looking forward to being able to see everyone again.
So Sarah Tidwell has asked about the installment plans.
Sure. So our next payment deadline is coming up this Sunday. That is going to be August 23rd at 7 p.m. And we still do have payment plans available. One of our colleagues can go ahead and link that page in the chat, which would be helpful. But we still have installment plans available. So you're able to put some money down towards it and then make payments throughout the course of the term. So you're not looking at the entirety of the bill all at once.
And those payment plans will also be available for late start classes, correct? Or is that just for 16-week classes?
No, there will be payment plans available. For this one, it's similar to financial aid. It's hard to speak too much in generalities, because if you're enrolled in a 16-week class only, or 10-week classes, or holiday mini, those payment plan terms and links might be different. The amount that you have to put down might be different. And so it all just depends on what you register for, what it's going to be. So yeah, that will certainly get direct information to that, but it's dependent on what you register for.
Excellent, thank you. I don't see any other questions coming through, and I think it's almost our time.
I know. I think we did this to ourselves. It's the first game of the Rockets in the playoffs. I'm sorry, I'm giving the plug for it, but they are playing right now, and so I'm certain we might have lost a couple of students to that this evening, but we're still here and certainly willing to answer your questions. But if you did miss us this evening and weren't able to get your questions answered in real time, certainly post those to our Facebook account so we can follow up with you, or at any of the email addresses that we've put in the thread.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate y'all, and we look forward to continuing to serve you. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Have a great week. Bye-bye.